If you've ever wondered how to earn more points beyond just the sign-up bonuses, why points people are obsessed with shopping at Staples to earn more points, how to double dip points with different partner programs, and how to get treated like you have status even if you do not, this video is for you. Also, make sure you stay until the end because I'm going to cover a step-by-step tutorial of one of my favorite moneymaker stacks that can also get you a free ticket to Europe. You'll definitely want that one in your wheelhouse if you're into points and miles. Today I'm joined by Brooke in a free coaching session. Each week, I give out a free one-on-one points coaching session through my newsletter, which you can sign up for by using the link in the description box and the comments. You'll be able to ask me any questions you have about earning points, redeeming points, credit card strategy, or anything else on your mind in a one-on-one setting.
I think one of my biggest questions is, I just recently got into it last year. Your Instagram was actually one of the first resources I found. And something that I really love about your content and something like your message is I feel like you're very practical and you're always kind of don't get shiny card syndrome. A lot of people are always going to be telling you here's a great sign-up bonus, here's a great sign-up bonus. And you have to really think about whether those things make sense for you. And so I wanted to ask you what would be your top recommended methods to keep earning points, even beyond sign-up bonuses, because I don't really see myself taking international trips or big flashy redemption trips more than once or twice a year probably. So I feel I also don't necessarily want to open a bunch of cards, and it also feels a lot of the higher, more premium cards also have a lot of overlapping benefits, so I'm not super keen on that. And I've seen a lot of people talking about shopping portals like Rakuten, which earns Amex points, but I don't actually have an Amex card, and then American Airlines portal as well. So yeah, I was just kind of curious how you kind of keep it going without opening a new cards or bonuses all the time.
There's a deep rabbit hole that you can go down for different promos and different offers and stuff you can link to each other, but it can get very overwhelming. So I guess we can start with do you want to go? Because then you don't have to pay attention to all 30 different rabbit holes. You can just focus in on one or two. Is there a flight you're trying to take?
My biggest redemption, my first miles redemption was actually to Italy this year, which I'm really excited about, but that's kind of the only planned one. I think the places I would see myself traveling to most often would be Asia and Europe, and not so much the other continents as much. I don't know if that narrows it down for you at all, but I'm also located on the East Coast. I'm not near a hub, but my biggest hub would probably be JFK or Newark, in New York.
Do you travel solo or with anyone else?
Most likely I would be traveling. Yeah, I would be traveling with at least one other person usually.
Okay, so referral bonuses are a big thing. You can refer each other to cards. So that way they'll get the sign-up bonus, you get the referral bonus. That's an easy way to get more points. There is the stacking and the shopping portals and the dining portals. Whatever card you use for dining, make sure you've linked it up to your favorite dining program so that you're just getting passive points that way. Make sure you're always using the optimal card. So plan A is use whatever sign-up bonus you're working on. Plan B, use a free app like Card Pointers, which will calculate for you, okay, if you have these 5 cards, here's the one you should use for gas, here's the one you should use for groceries. So making sure you're always using the optimal card. The gift card trick. So let's see, what cards do you have already?
So I have the Chase Sapphire Preferred, the Chase Freedom Unlimited, and the Capital One. But my mom actually has the Ink cards, which I know the Ink Cash gets the 5 times on office supplies. Yeah. Is that the gift card trick that you were going to mention?
Yeah, I was going to go Freedom Flex, but yeah, Chase Ink Cash works just as well. So you can, whenever you need to go buy something from Amazon or Target, instead of going straight there, go to Staples and buy a gift card to Amazon or Target. And that way you can quintuple the amount of points that you're earning, because you'll earn 5 points per dollar shopping at Staples with that card. You could do something similar with the Chase Freedom Flex, which earns 5 points per dollar on rotating categories each quarter.
Got it. So sometimes it will rotate to office stores, and that's when you kind of stock up on gift cards and stuff like that.
Yeah, for example, this quarter, the Chase Freedom Flex earns 5 points per dollar at grocery stores, Target, and gyms. And so if you wanted to go shopping on Amazon, you're well, I only earn 1 point per dollar on Amazon. You could just go to your grocery store and buy an Amazon gift card, pay with the Chase Freedom Flex, and then it earns 5 points instead of 1 point per dollar. So that's another way that you can earn more points.
Can I ask a question about the gift cards also? I had completely forgotten grocery stores sell gift cards also, so that's really, really helpful to know. Have you ever run into issues because occasionally we would return something or something like that, and then it would just get credited back as a gift card balance, right? So there is kind of a little bit of risk that you're taking where it's it wouldn't be a cash refund.
Yeah, so it would be refunded back to you in the form of an Amazon gift card, which would just be sitting in your Amazon account. So if you shop on Amazon a lot, that's not too much of a problem. But if you're doing this you bought one thing at Bass Pro Shop once upon a time, and they're like, oh, well, here's like your $25 credit to Bass Pro Shop, then you're like, I have no idea what to do with this. And at least with Amazon, it all goes into one account. If you're like, oh, I bought like a Visa gift card, and then they're like, well, here's another $25 Visa gift card, and then you just have a shoebox of those, it does
got it.
That gets annoying.
I was gonna ask, so I've seen like a lot of people talking about like because like the ink cards are really big right now, and a lot of people talk about like the staples like Visa gift cards, because that's like a really great way where you can like spend the Visa gift cards like pretty much anywhere that takes Visa, right? Do you know how often they have those promotions where it's like they waive the activation fee or something? Because normally it costs like more than the price of the Visa gift card to buy that, right?
Yeah, normally there's like an extra $6 or $7. I feel like they're doing it every couple months. I don't even post about it every single time anymore because it's just so often, but I think it's like every couple months.
Got it.
Other ways to earn more points. So if you're ever like out to dinner with a group of friends, you can just be like, hey, can we put the bill on my card? Everybody Venmo me back. Then that's a really easy way. Yeah, that's a super easy way. You said you're near JFK. Are you in the New York area?
No, I'm actually in North Carolina. So I'm at RDU, which has like 2 international flights.
A lot of them are like one-off promos all the time. So like status matching with hotels and airlines sometimes happens. But just as far as earning a lot of points, you can link programs that have partnered with each other. Like a lot of them are like with specialized cards, like Marriott or Uber will partner with each other. The Capital One Venture X, I mean, you could easily use that $300 credit to any airline. Just book like a United flight through the Capital One portal and then cancel the flight, and then it'll be sitting in your travel bank. You could do something like that because United is really flexible with their return policies. So you'll just take the return as store credit.
I did have another question for you, and this is like not exactly points related, but I was curious, like when you travel internationally, what do you do about like getting local currency? And like I heard there's like some cards that give you like no ATM fees for like foreign like ATMs and stuff like that. Do you have like a favorite for that?
We always just go to our local bank
and
order them ahead of time, which I need to do. I just remembered I have to do that. Yeah.
Where are you headed, if you don't mind me asking?
Japan in a couple of weeks, and I was like, oh, we have done zero preparation for that. I need to like buy my positioning flights. Like I have flights from LA to Tokyo, and I'm like, oh, I need to buy my flights to LA. It's in 10 days.
I hope you have fun. That's so exciting.
Thank you.
I'm just curious also, like, are there any other cards that you would recommend for me just based on like what I have right now, which is not too many?
Chase Freedom Flex would be the main one that I would add in, just so that you have another easy way to do that 5x gift card trick on the rotating categories.
Okay, cool. I will definitely sign up for that one. And then the other thing I kind of wanted to get your opinion on is like Hyatt and like Hyatt Globalist. I feel like it's something I see a lot of people talking about because it's such like a hot like status to have, but I don't really travel enough to like...
Don't chase status.
Okay, that's what I've heard.
Everyone on the internet is an influencer, so we all travel a lot, and I think that's just one of many things that people on the internet are like, oh, you could live like me. I'm like, most people don't need to be doing all of these shenanigans. It's literally our jobs to just test these things out and report about it, and we'll get status in the meantime. Most normal people would do better to just pay for breakfast. The 2 times a year that they go to a hotel, it will be better to just buy breakfast rather than be like, I bought 50 fake hotel nights so that I can get free breakfast the 3 times I actually travel, and then Instagram about it to my 200 followers. I'm like, none of that math made sense.
I definitely feel the FOMO sometimes because people are talking about like upgrades and stuff, and I'm like, I have to like reel myself in and be like, okay, you don't travel that much, like it's not really worth it for you.
So with Hyatt, there's 2 ways to get upgrades if you don't have status. One, if you're paying with money, book it through a travel agent who has Hyatt Privé. And so do that. Or number 2, find a friend who has Hyatt Globalist and then just route your points through them and then have them do a guest of honor booking for you, and then you will get treated like you have the Globalist status. So you don't need to earn it on your own, just find friends.
Got it. Okay, good to know. If I'm like transferring points to a friend, are there like transfer allowed like between Hyatt and Hyatt accounts? Is that like a thing, or does it have to be like at an earlier stage?
You can transfer points between people. It's jankety and old-fashioned, and you have to fill out a form and then possibly fax it. I have my Hyatt concierge person do this all the time for me, where I just tell her like all of our information and then they fill it out. Because I wish it was an online form, but it's not. Like you have to print out a thing, fill it in, and then like send it to an email address at Hyatt. It's super jankety, but yes. Long story short, you can transfer points back and forth between Hyatt accounts.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
Yeah.
My other question is like for the Built card, because I know like that one is like you can get points on rent, which sounds really, really good. Curious, like, does it only work if you live at like a building or have a landlord that like takes credit card?
No, what they can do instead is they can mail your landlord a check for your rent, or they can wire an ACH payment. It will just say like, use this bank account as your routing code. And then whatever your rent costs, they'll just charge that to your credit card, and then you'll get points for it. So they'll take care of all the operations of like, okay, your rent is whatever each month, like they'll mail out the checks or wire the ACH, and then you'll get charged for it and you'll earn points.
Got it. So that's like, I'm guessing you just like do that online where you tell them like, this is how to pay my rent, like send it to this person, send this amount kind of thing. They'll just
like how do you pay rent right now? Do you just type in a bank routing number?
It's like just like paper checks.
Oh, paper checks. Okay, Bill can handle that then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. That's awesome. I didn't even know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, everybody's like, oh, I can't do it. My landlord doesn't take check. And I'm like, that's literally their business model is like, oh, they don't accept credit cards.
Do you have a Built referral link?
I do. It's geobreeztravel.com/Built referral.
Cool. Gonna sign up for that right after this. Just one last question for you. So I think I'm definitely gonna sign up for the Freedom Flex because I didn't know that grocery store hack. But in general, like I see like a lot of cards that are really premium have like great, like the Amex bonuses are just like insane right now. But I look at the annual fee and it's so high and people are always saying like, oh, this is like a money maker. But I'm like, I don't use Equinox. I don't have like 30 streaming services, and like I don't use Uber a lot and stuff. So I'm just curious.
Again, people who say that are paid to say that, and they're influencers, and they're like, oh, like they pay you to do this. I'm like, they literally pay us to tell you that. I'm like, oh God, I would not start with Amex Platinum. That would not be in my first 5 cards. Probably not my first 10 cards if I were getting started. Chase Freedom Flex is no annual fee. Minimum spend's like $500. You have the 5X Visa or the gift card trick. So I would start there.
Okay.
It's a lot higher on Amex Platinum. So
got it. I'm just
curious,
like when people like work themselves up to there, because it also seems like there's a lot of like overlapping benefits. Like a lot of people talk about like global entry, but it's like so many cards cover that. So it's like you're not getting like $100 out of every card because you're only going to do that like once, right? Like, is it mostly like people like when they have like so many cards, is it just for like the sign up bonuses and stuff? Like I don't know. I'm just curious how
you could buy global entry for other people as like a Christmas gift or something. You just pay it on your card and then you get credited for it. So some people do that, but also like it's just content. So a lot of people have all these cards so they can talk about all these cards and then like make money. So literally it is a moneymaker if you are paid to sell the cards. But for normal people.
Well, I really appreciate how down to earth you are. Like, I feel like you always have like a good dose of reality. And when I'm like going through my IG stories and seeing all the people like talking about cards, and then you're kind of like, don't get shiny card syndrome. Like, you are so right. This is just like a general question because I feel like the people that have been in the game for so long for like points and stuff, like know like all the great routes and all the great like what is considered like a really good like points redemption and stuff like that. In terms of like just continuing to like get awareness and education for that, like I definitely follow you, I follow a lot of people. Like, are there any resources that you would say are really great just to like kind of keep absorbing that information, like getting like an awareness for like these kinds of things?
Podcast is good because I always interview different people who have different ways of looking at it. Patreon as well for like just group coaching if you have like a specific question we can help with. But I would really just binge listen to the podcast because everybody has different ways of finding stuff.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to do this and all the amazing resources. Like I am definitely going to take your free course also. I was going to do it before this call, but didn't have a chance to. But yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for all of like the amazing content you put out and like the time and effort you put into like educating people on this. I've learned a ton from you, so really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. If you ever have any other questions, always feel free to reach out. So we just covered a bunch of information in that coaching session about how to earn more points after the sign-up bonuses. If you enjoyed this content where it's more of a candid conversation about how to approach points, please let me know by hitting the like button and be sure to subscribe for even more points and miles tips. I'm always just kind of thinking on the fly in those coaching sessions, so since you're watching on YouTube, here are a couple of tutorials that dive deeper into some of those tips that we shared. We briefly mentioned Rakuten, and here's one of my favorite Rakuten tricks for earning a ton of points quickly. What you want to do is wait for this LifeLock deal to hit 95%, and that's going to happen a couple times a year. Then you purchase the most expensive plan you can find. Here it's the Ultimate Plus Family Plan. It's got 2 adults and 5 kids covered. It's going to cost $372 a year. You're going to earn 95% of $372, which is $353.40. But if you link it to Amex, instead of $353.40, you're going to get 35,340 Amex points, which is enough for a free flight to Europe, by the way. Amex points are generally worth about 2 cents per point, so the value from that deal is 35,340 times 0.02, or $706.80. Therefore, you just netted $706.80 minus $372 that you used to pay for that LifeLock deal is $334. Also, if you're going to be opening all of these accounts back and forth anyway, having something like LifeLock in place is probably a good idea. If you're new to Rakuten and that was all a little bit overwhelming and you're looking for a simpler Rakuten trick, check out the link in the description box or the comment section. If you use that link, you can get a free $30 gift card or credit to your favorite store. All you need to do is click through the link and then go to the gift card section of Rakuten and then get a $30 gift card. And then you should see your cashback as pending in your Rakuten settings. We also talked about making a guest of honor booking, which lets you get treated like you have top-tier globalist status, even if you don't actually have any status. Globalist perks include free breakfast, 4 p.m. late checkout, and suite upgrade upon availability. My husband and I stayed at the Park Hyatt in New York a couple times, and the breakfast credits alone are worth $90 per day. And we even got upgraded to this Bright Suite, which is usually valued at more than $1,000 per night. The bed was super high tech and controlled by iPads. The toilet was super fancy. It was quite an experience. They also gave us a bottle of champagne and some chocolate-covered strawberries, which also had gold flakes on them because it was my husband's birthday. That's the power of being treated like you have status, but I don't want you to have to go crazy trying to chase status if you only travel a few times a year. The way I would recommend most people do this is find a friend who has globalist status. We have a ton of globalists in the Patreon, and if you'd like to make a friend there, you can sign up by using the links in the description box or the comment section. Then, you're going to ask your globalist friend to ask their Hyatt concierge to facilitate a points transfer and a guest of honor booking for your trip. They will ask you to fill out this points transfer form and email it back to the concierge, and then they'll book your trip for you. I would recommend going through the concierge in case, for some reason, you don't trust your globalist friend and you're just afraid they're gonna pocket your points once you make the transfer. I hope those tutorials were useful for you. Please let me know in the comments if there are any other tutorials that you would like to see, and if you're interested in learning even more strategies for earning points without opening more and more credit cards, check out this video next.